Alright, in this final video I'm going to show you how to put the whole thing together. We're going to finish it up. You're going to continue weaving until you get all the way up to the very top. You want to get as close to the top as you possibly can. As you start to get closer and closer to the top, it's going to get more and more difficult to go over, under, because there's not that much room left. So you may need to go through one warp thread at a time, like this. Do that all the way across. And what you want to try and do is, when you are coming through your final pass through of all of your warp threads, you want to have your weft end on the same side that your original 6-inch piece of warp thread or yarn that you had hanging down. That way you can tie these off together at the end and it will all be put together and not come apart, not pull back through, and so on. So when you get to the end here, you pull your final warp thread through. Make sure you beat everything down. Now these two are coming out the same side. I'm going to pop this off of the tab here so that it comes out and is loose. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut this off so it's the same length. I'm done with my weft thread. I'm going to tie these two together, so I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. Take my 2 fingers, wrap this around, tuck this underneath, make my loose knot, and slide this down until it's tight there. So now we are finished weaving. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the whole bag off of our loom. To do that, we're going to use our needle, and we're going to take it and go up underneath each one of these little dashes that you made and pull it over the top of the loom like this. And you're going to do that on both sides. Okay, when I'm finished with that, I have both of these unattached now, and now what I can do is slide the entire bag off of the loom. So depending on how tightly you wove, you might have to turn and shooky this over and over again, pulling down a little bit at a time until you get the entire bag off of the loom. You're going to pull it off the end carefully. Set your loom aside. Now we're going to take the whole thing and turn it inside out. And you can see that you can't see any of those pieces of yarn sticking through. It's got a nice finished surface to it. A couple things before we finish off with the drawstrings. These strings right here, these pieces of yarn, we're going to tuck those down through the inside here. Through the weave and kind of hide them so that they're not just hanging out on your bag. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our needle again. We're going to slide the ends of both of those pieces of yarn, and then we're going to take our needle and we're going to kind of follow down through the edge here, this weaving. You don't have to go down too far. You're just going to kind of go in between the pieces of yarn like this, and you're going to pull this down through so that it tucks down inside here. You can't see it on the outside. It tucks down through the inside. If you want, you could do it even a little bit further, or you could trim this off a little bit so that it's not going to show at all. So now you have a nice clean bag. You don't have any little tails hanging out there or anything like that, and you are ready to make your pull string. To make your pull string, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 pieces of yarn and braid them together, and then pass them through these loops that are on the top here. one going in this direction and one going in this direction. So I have one of them finished here. The second one, I have 3 pieces of yarn, and I'm going to braid these together. I've already tied the end of it together here. Tape that down so it'll hold it steady for me. And then for those of you who don't know how to braid, it's simply a matter of taking, you have all 3 pieces of yarn here. You're going to constantly be taking the outside pieces and crossing it over the inside. And when you do that, the inside, or the outside piece becomes the new inside piece. So for example, I'm going to start with my right piece of yarn. I'm going to cross it over, and now this becomes the next inside piece. Now I'm going to take the left side and cross it over, and then this becomes the next inside piece. And you keep alternating that over and over each time. Once you get the hang of it, you can do it with your fingers like this. Grab underneath and cross over. So now I'm going to take this left one, cross over, take the right one, cross over, and you're constantly crossing over. Sometimes you're going to need to untangle the strings down below where you're braiding, down here. These start to get tangled up as you do that. Just take one string and sort of pull it out, and the other ones will come apart as well. Now once you have both drawstrings ready, you're ready to finish off the bag completely. You're going to start on one of the sides. So the bag lays like this. On one of the edges here, you're going to start by taking the knot where you tied together here, and you're going to pass it through this loop right here. You're going to pass this knot through that loop like that. Go through the next loop, like that, and do that all the way around until you come out the same side that you started. So right here. So when you're finished, it's going to come out the same side as where you started. Hold your finger back here so that you can pull. You want to make these ends about the same length. And then I even like to tie these together so that this will never pull back through the other way. You don't want that to ever come out again. So I take these, I do the same kind of thing as I did before, wrap it around, tuck it through, and then pull my knot up to the very end. Now I have this tied together on one side. Now we're going to start our second drawstring, but instead of starting on the same side as we did here, going this way, we're going to start on this side and go the other way. So we're going to start on the side again over here, and we're going to go in this direction and wrap around. So now I come out again, pull this out, get these even on the end here, tie those off like that, and now I have drawstring on both sides. When I pull the ends of these outward, the whole bag comes together, and I have a nice completed drawstring bag. Okay, have fun.